With set 11 out on the PBE, there is lots to go over. Let's start with a trade overview where we discuss Storyweavers. So Storyweavers gain health and summon a hero named Kayle. As you upgrade your Storyweaver units, Kayle evolves. With 3 Storyweavers active, you get to pick a supportive effect. A gains 60 health. The supportive effects you can choose from are Talisman of Aid, damaging attacks and abilities, 30% shred and sunder enemies hit for 3 seconds. It's best for a supportive kill build that stays at 3 Storyweaver. You can use this technique to provide shred and sunder for your entire team instead of using 4 item components. Instead, you can now turn those components into more items to your liking. Talisman of Might, grant Kayle and adjacent allies in the same row 20 ability power at the start of combat. This is the AP option, best suited when playing Storyweaver with an AP carry like Morgana. Talisman of Speed, grant Kayle and adjacent allies in the same row 15% attack speed at the start of combat. This is the attack speed option, best with units like Kayle. If you're playing 5 or more Storyweavers, you'll be using Kayle as a carry. Obviously, this means you'll have to look at your early stage, if you're contested or not, to make your decision. Because whether you decide to play Kayle as a support or carry influences the effect you pick. With 5 Storyweavers, you'll get 100 health and an option of 2 combat effects. The combat effect options are Scroll of Force. Kayle's ability hits a wider area. This is the burst option for faster fights, where you AoE down the entire frontline. Scroll of Haste. Attacks grant Kayle 5% stacking attack speed, which is a stacking option for if you have lots of tank items and want a slower fight. With 7, you choose another combat effect and get 150 health. The combat options are Tome of Mending. Every 8 seconds revive the strongest ally that hasn't been revived yet at 50% of their maximum health. This is again a more supportive option. It can possibly scale well with the Scroll of Haste, which prefers longer fights. And then Tome of Swiftness. Deal 10% more damage. Attacks now hit in a 1 hex radius around the target, which also scales well with Scroll of Haste because you'll get more attacks off. And with 10, you gain 250 health, and Kayle will now get the Amulet of Ascension. She'll get insane attack speed and damage. 10 Storyweavers does require 3 emblems, so it's pretty tough to hit. Now that we covered the trade bonuses, let's cover the rest of the units. Let's start with Garen. Garen is an attack tank. His ability is Courage. He'll gain a shield for 5 seconds. His next attack deals physical damage. Then next up is Sivir. Sivir is an attack carry. Her ability is On the Hunt. Gain attack damage and grant attack speed to herself and adjacent allies for 5 seconds. Then Riven. Riven is an attack fighter. Her ability is Broken Wings. Deal physical damage to the current target. Every third cast, instead, deal physical damage to the current target and enemies adjacent to them. Then heal. Zyra. Zyra is a magic caster. Her ability is Paper Thorns. Summon 2 Vine Lashers that attack the nearest enemies 3 times. Their attacks deal magic damage and wound their targets for 6 seconds. Zoe. Zoe is another magic caster. Her ability is Calculated, which has 2 things to it. Her passive kills increased numbers of ricochets by 1 for the rest of combat, and her active, fire a missile dealing magic damage to the current target. The missile ricochets to the farthest units within 2 hexes, dealing magic damage. Galio. Galio is a magic tank. His ability is Sivir's Protection. Taunt enemies within 3 hexes and gain armor and magic resist for 4 seconds. Galio is immobile and unstoppable during this time. After that, deal magic damage to all enemies in range and grant a shield to allies in range for 4 seconds. Taunt means enemies that are able and in range must attack the taunter. And then for the final unit, Irelia. Irelia is an attack carry. Her ability is Blade Dance. which has two things to it. Her passive, attack sends blades that dart between enemies, dealing physical damage and 30% sunder for 5 seconds. It casts every 8 attacks. And her active, command the blades to swiftly strike the 3 lowest health enemies, dealing physical damage and applying on-hit effects. Irelia converts bonus attack speed into faster blade movement and into attack damage. Sunder means reduce armor. That's the Storyweavers overview. Once the set goes live, we'll start doing meta reading. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for future content, and then I'll see you in the next video.